So can y'all hear me? Mic check, mic check. The Truth Revealed, Part 3. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to something and I'm gonna give a reaction. Gonna actually explain more in detail about what this person is saying. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to an audio and then there's some things I wanna go over. For those who joined, thank you. This type of live stream, if you end up joining late, you're gonna have to watch the whole thing over because you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna understand it. So once again, if you can hear me, let me know. If you can't hear me, let me know. I'm gonna play the audio. If you can't hear the audio at any moment, let me know also. I'm actually going to double check it on my end.
Also loosely called remote trauma.
Alright, so I'm going to play this audio and I'm going to give my input in between.
Psychotronic torture, also loosely called remote trauma-based mind control, means the torture and manipulation of the brain, nervous system, and consciousness. Manipulation trauma-based mind control, also loosely called remote trauma-based psychotronic torture, speaking. Psychotronic torture, also loosely called remote trauma-based mind control, means the torture and manipulation of the brain, nervous system, and consciousness through the use of classified technology that deploys by satellite reads or other relays, electromagnetic waves or other energies to directly read and latch onto your brain's unique electromagnetic fingerprint, thus putting you in this non-control energy or other specified nerve, also loosely called psychotronic torture, also loosely called remote trauma-based mind control, means the torture and manipulation of the brain, nervous system, and consciousness through the use of classified technology that deploys by satellite reads or other relays, electromagnetic waves or other energies to to directly read and latch onto your brain's unique electromagnetic fingerprint, thus putting you in this non-consensual 21st century MKUltra project, which is a 24/7, no release until death or suicide torture program. Implants could be used as well. Considering the infrastructure and sophistication of this technology, it was most probably developed by the U.S. Department of Defense, intelligence sectors, and their fringe organizations, and also operated by them together with lackey counterparts in other countries, apart from maybe the two opposing superpowers, China and Russia, who might operate on their own if they do. Gang stalking, in my view at least, is a specialized form of persecution aimed at victims of this torture, and it can be described as organized hate that conspires and systematically pursues the destructions of the victims' sanity, will, and life by covert, malicious psychological techniques. In my case, it has grown to the point that it was done openly and loudly in public. The more numerous they are, the more casual, arrogant, hateful, aggressive, and collectively evil they become, receiving validation between themselves and the silence of any who may oppose, since this crime against humanity is not recognized and reacted to by the moral and lawful bodies of the world for whatever reason, though it is surely known. My particular torture consists of the following: the dissolution of memory and impairing of higher brain functions. It is a slow process that wipes your short-term memory and lessens the information stored and or recalled in your long-term memory.
Y'all heard what he said, right? I'm gonna run it back.
The information slow process that wipes
A slow process that wipes your short-term memory and lessens the information
your short-term memory and lessens the information stored and
or recalled in your long-term memory.
or recalled in your long-term memory.
All right, so we about to begin. This is what they all been talking about. The movie Memento, the movie Dark City, Everybody Sleep. They getting their memories wiped. Let's begin. I'm gonna put this on hold for a second. Welcome to my short game stalking presentation. This will be part 1 of my series. The wiping of short-term memory and reducing long-term storage happens naturally through neural decay. So what we are going through, or what they are subjecting us to, is neural decay. And this is active forgetting mechanism, and biological factors like sleep deprivation or stress. These are the natural things, right? But since we are discussing about remote trauma-based mind control, the program wiping of the short-term memory is remote. Remote is far away, in place, time, or relation. They have perfected this technique that it's like having a targeted manual erase switch or button. Remember the neuralizer off the Men in Black? They have perfected this technique that is like having a remote control. They can remote control people, y'all. So when we talk about people not knowing who they are, people behaving strange, how can family turn their back on you almost like they never knew you? You always have to wonder and take into account how much remote trauma-based programming have they went through and how many Manchurian candidates that they have walking around in society. A lot. A lot of people volunteer to be remote trauma-based victims. What you think going to the military is for? So if you got a lot of volunteers who join these institutions to be good slaves, who you think the gang stalking program is geared towards? Dissidents, people who go against the status quo, people who refuse to be controlled, who cannot operate in a controlled society. The remote short-term memory deletion. Let me enhance this because we about to start getting into something, right? The remote short-term memory deletion happens when the mind can't process an event. The remote short-term memory deletion happens when the mind can't process an event. So what do you think happened when there is a series of events that can't be explained? Series of events that lasts the entire day, that lasts the entire week, that lasts an entire lifetime. The brain shuts down, psychological overload, the amygdala hijack, where the brain alarm system goes into overdrive, triggering a constant fight, flight, or freeze response. The prefrontal cortex, the logical thinking part of your brain, shuts down. It starts converting the event into a standard organized memory with without a clear beginning, middle, and end. There's a little typo right there, but what happened is it stopped converting the event into a standard organized memory without a clear beginning, middle, and end. This is where the mind shatters and you experience psychosis, a induced mind-altering reality, the brain defense mechanism. When the conscious mind cannot handle a truth or the truth, remember that saying, you can't handle the truth, it forces out of awareness. It forces it out of awareness through several psychological survival tactics. People know about the program, but they are so afraid to speak up about it because they don't want it to be them, that their defense mechanism through psychological survival tactics is for them to go through repression of the mind, disassociation, and projection, displacement. This is why the program is 24/7. Due to the few being targeted, everyone is affected severely. This is why there are so many cops around, because they are in charge of keeping everything under control for as long as possible, because everyone has lost their control. And the moment this program ends, everyone will lose their mind and the elites will run into their little bunkers and hide out for the next decade while everyone eat and kill each other. Then when the population has lessened, they will come out of hiding and enslave the few and create a new world. The reason why this system is being policed is because they're trying to keep everything as normal as possible. They're trying to make things appear to be as normal as possible. But really, everyone has lost control. The ship is sailing. We is in the Titanic. We are on the Titanic, y'all. The ones who know already got out. They already left. They in a remote place. They got out of society. They got out of the city. The elites already got bunkers. They already ready. The moment this program stop, that is when the bomb go off. That is when people lose their minds. You will see people for who they truly are, because everything is surely a facade. For surely a facade. Because the brain is essentially a sense-making machine, and you've been put into a program where shit just isn't making sense. And you are unable to process the event logically. The trauma cannot be filed away as the past. This is why the program is 24/7. It won't let you forget. It won't let you go. Instead, it traps you by trapping the trauma into the nervous system as a current threat. The body keeps score even if you consciously forget the event. Your body remembers. This is why they swarm you. Do noise campaign. This is why loud taps, bangs, things dropping on the floor, coughs may startle you because they have successfully remotely ingrained themselves into your body, your nervous system. So at times you may experience various triggers ranging from random panic attacks, your heart racing out of nowhere, chronic fatigue, or unexplained physical pain. Now, this is the interesting part, because essentially what's being done when you are in this program is them making you unable to make new memories for yourself. Short term and long term. It's a reason for it. This is why they don't want you talking to anyone. They sabotage every relationship. They don't want you in a relationship unless it's by them, because then it will ruin the programming. When you are unable to make new memories for yourself, unable to experience the short-term joy of life, and unable to recall happy, long-lasting memories, what you will experience is a condition called antegrade amnesia. And once the program have you under amnesia, it's like a spell. Hypnosis. So there are two main things you may experience through this daily life and behavior. Emotional echoes. You may feel a lingering emotion of sadness or anger without remembering the specific event that caused it. This is why they get people to talk to you, to check your temperature, to see if a specific event that you not remember anymore because it's so much happening, but they come to check to see if you are emotionally programmed and this is still in effect, so they can get their desired response, so that they can know if they need to dial up the harassment more or switch it up. But those lingering emotions where it's like, yo, why do I feel this way? You don't even remember the cause. You don't even remember. Your short-term memory. Next is what I call the reset effect. Similar to the 100-yard stare, that trauma-related condition where, the mind, it's similar to the 100-yard stare, but this reset effect, it happens every few minutes or every few seconds, right? Where the mind constantly reboots. This is some of us, right? A lot of us wipe out what just occurred. What is occurring, what is happening. A lot of us wipe that out. The moments. But what if those moments is extended? You damn near forget the day. You damn near forget your life. You damn near forget yourself. So a lot of you might be thinking you're paying attention. You think because you're looking, you're paying attention. Paying attention and looking is two different things. You might be there, but you ain't there. I got to snap like, yo, you there? Wake up. Focus, right? But you really just rebooting. You're not really experiencing life. You just pushing life in the background. But the feeling is still there. So the feeling is still there. The pain never goes away. The past stay intact. Memories formed before the brain damage remain perfectly intact. What they do to you stays there. They basically you know how sophisticated this shit is? They basically make you remember what they want you to remember, right? And they use the brain defense mechanism, like the trash bin. You know how you in a computer you can put shit in the trash bin? They make you put yourself in the trash. They make that's what you see a lot of trash people following you around, a lot of trash truck. This shit's symbolic. They make you put all the good things in the trash, and they keep the trauma there. All you know is trauma. You can't create new memories for yourself. Yo, they exploiting the brain. Memories formed before the brain damage remain perfectly intact. Anything after that goes in the trash. It only cares about the past. This is why a lot of us may dabble in heavy drugs or alcohol to try to forget and ease the pain, but once you sober up, it all come crashing down. So look, I'm gonna be straight up about it. You see all these fake relationships going on. You wonder why is that person dealing with that person when really they don't even like that person. What's really going on is everyone want to have their own slave, their own mind control victim. And most people have it. Most people have kids for this exact reason. And you know what God do? God cursed them. Some of these people, their kids come out with mental problems and conditions. Some can't have kids. So you know what they do? They prey on those who have kids. This is why nobody really don't want to be around you unless it's in it for them. Because most likely they have their own mind control program running in their own home. So when you come around and you see the program and how everything's set up and how the house is literally booby tracked and constructed and geared towards bothering the person, being nosy and the nuisance, you disrupt their programming. Everybody has a program going on. Everybody is slaving people. Everybody wants power to slave people. People are fighting for power to enslave people. That's what's going on. You either being controlled, like I said, you either outside doing what's told, or being forced to do some shit you don't want to do. And then you got the handlers. That's the one who get to pick and choose. Everybody want to be a handler, right? So it's like this, right? With this whole memory thing. Take the movie Spider-Man Brand New Day, right? Everybody forgot who Peter Parker was. Peter Parker knew this was going to happen. Due to that, he was isolated. He went through a program. He started going evil. He like, what's happening to me? He's losing his short-term memory. He was losing his memory. Now, he met up with his girl, Mary Jane. She don't remember him. He could have told her, yo, you forgot about me. Remember we dated? He didn't even bother. Why? Because why would you, how could you go to somebody and tell somebody, yo, you forgot your memory if they don't remember? How can you try to make something happen, make something work with somebody if they don't remember? You just best to walk away. But what if that person you want to walk, if it's the person you care about? What if it's the person you love? You got to walk away. The curse of knowledge. Your friends, your family, what if they had to walk away? What if they had to forget? They have to forget. This is why I say, sometimes I don't even think it matters if TIs come together. You know why? They can make us forget. They can wipe our memory. A person might not be who you remember them to be. They might think They might not even know who they think they are. Yo, this memory shit real, y'all. This memory shit real. They basically going around fucking with people's memory.
Creating a continuous amnesic effect. The capacity for reason, critical thought, emotion, imagination, and internal dialogue also dissipates. This is done to neutralize the victim and make it susceptible to induced hypnotic states. This is
Hypnotic state. So that means if you can't process what is happening, an event that is extended 24/7, where do it go? You push it away, right? So now, what do you think? See, the mind don't like missing blanks. The mind don't like things missing. So what it do? It fill in the blanks. But you know what they do? They do it for you. They put in what they want. They fill in the gaps for you. It's hypnotic. It's hypnotic. He gonna explain how they do it. I'm gonna go over it.
It's called menticide, the killing of the mind, and it may be irreversible brain damage. The damage is maintained by the constant directed energy streamed to the victim. For an unknowing victim, like I was, this process might be felt as an Alzheimer's patient progressively losing himself. As best I can say, as there is no real comparison to anything. This is my main torture from which everything else is derived. Monarching. Monarch was a sister program of MKUltra, designed to condition and control victims by trauma. Now, with the current technology, I have been conditioned through mood manipulation and facial expression manipulation without my awareness for several years in an isolated.
Alright, so there's actually something I forgot. I'm about to. There's something I want to comment on what he said, but there's something I actually forgot to talk about. Right when I was telling y'all about the reset effect, how we are like, sometimes when we can't process what's going on, our minds be rebooting. We think we paying attention, but we literally just be looking. We don't really be focused. We don't really be paying attention. We really don't be there. Our minds just be rebooting because the shit that we have to make sense of is not computing. So I wanna break down the symptoms and the side effects of this, of what really be going on, right? So check this out. Tell me if y'all experienced this, right? The waking up illusion. Constant awakening. A person feels like when they just have opened their eyes after a long deep sleep, even if they've been awake and not and talking for hours. Like you sleep for 5 to 8 hours, but it felt like you just woke in your eyes. Why don't I just slept? Why don't I feel rested? Why don't I feel the hours I put in? Like, what's going on, right? Next is the living present. Their conscious mind can hold onto information for about 15 to 30 seconds using working memory, but for the most focused shifts, that information vanish. The sensory void. When the reset happens, the previous minutes do not feel forgotten. It feels as though the minutes never existed at all. Like for instance, right? Like somebody can come up to you and give you a happy memory. They can be like, yo, man, I like them sneaks, man. Yo, I like your hair. Like, compliment you, right? That shit, most people feel good getting spoken to. Most people feel most people feel good for the rest of the day when they say hello, good morning. That make most people day. But you take a TI, you say good morning. Hey man, I like your sneaks. Hey man, you look good. This and that. We forget that shit in the next 30 seconds. Anything good? Oh, we forget that in the next 30 seconds. That memory is wiped. That's short term. So it's a next is the emotional hangover. Lingering chemistry. If you tell a person with this condition that their parent passed away, they will feel intense, devastating grief. The missing why. A few minutes later, the reset effect wipes out the news of the death, but the stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline remains in the bloodstream. The confusion. The person will sit in a room crying or feeling deeply anxious, but then ask why. They would generally have no idea. Social interactions, the infinite loop. In conversations, the person would tell a joke, reach the punchline, reset, and then immediately tell the same exact joke with the same enthusiasm. Strangers enter the room. If a doctor leaves the room to grab a cup of coffee and returns 2 minutes later, the patient will greet them as a complete stranger. Now, this is more severe cases, right? Now, as people get older, they reach these severe cases, and they need people to take care of them because they've been fucking traumatized, remote trauma. A lot of these symptoms and conditions is induced. So a lot of these people grow up with these symptoms because they don't know they've been a victim of remote trauma-based mind control. Now they need somebody to take care of them. So it's a slow, drawn out. This is what been going on. It's a slow trauma-based control. Now I wanna comment on what he about to say in this video, right?
For several and now with the current technology, I have been conditioned through mood manipulation and facial expression manipulation without my awareness for several years in an isolated environment. Since my torture became overt 5 years ago, I have been more able to be conscious of my mood. But the torturers, or handlers as they are named, started to torture me through forceful facial manipulation, such as grinning and laughing at any time for any duration.
He said mood manipulation, facial manipulation. Now, how do they do that? There's a thing called, I don't know if y'all actually heard about it, but it's called mood contagion. This is mood contagion on steroids. Everything's amplified. So mood contagion is a psychological phenomenon where people automatically mimic and synchronize their expression, vocalization, postures, and movement with those of another person, causing them to catch or feel the same emotion. You want to know something I noticed, right? Something I noticed, So you know what they did to him? Basically, when you're a strong person, they run internal simulations. Mood contagion. I noticed that when I'm feeling calm, cool, collected, and confident, I see everybody yawning. What do that supposed to mean? Everybody yawns. What, I'm boring? Everybody, why everybody do that? Mood contagion. Let's go dive a little deeper in mood contagion, right? The mirroring process. Now babies do this as they get older. I mean, we've been conditioned. We've been using this since we was little. Babies learn. They learn after their parents. They mimic their parents, right? Automatic mimicry. Humans naturally copies others' microexpressions. The physical act of mimicking a smile or frown sends a signal to your brain. What is these things? It's called mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are special brain cells that fire both when you do an action and when you watch someone else do the same action. Dive a little deep. It's a Italian scientists found these cells while studying monkey brains, and they saying like how our brains, we have a mirror system that, you know, physical X, that use physical X as emotional cues. Yo, these are internal simulations, people. Not only is they manipulating our outer reality, our outer simulation, they're manipulating our inner simulation, our interpretation, cues. So basically, it's eyes wide shut. You can't even close your eyes. You can't even, yo. That's why a lot of this shit is really meant to be conquered. You really can't run from this shit. That's a defense mechanism. Yo, it's you really can't have no fear in this shit. I'm trying to tell you. And it seems like the more you have empathy, look what they say with empathy. The more you have empathy, they may help us share feelings. Yo, knowing all this, why would you want to have empathy? Empathy seemed like, bro, you gonna go through hell. Why would you want to be more connected to these people that's controlled, that's using that same system against you? It even says, look, mirror neurons fire both when you do an action and when you watch someone else do that same action. Located in the motor and premotor areas, they help your brain run an internal simulation, allowing you to intuitively grab simple goals, imitate movements, and learn physical skills through observation. Yo. And this is remote. Remotely. And we be wondering, damn, how they all in sync? How do they synchronize? Because they're connected remotely. We all connected as human beings. But it goes so much deeper, right? It goes so much deeper. I'm going to let him explain it, and I'm going to comment on it.
It is very painful, mind-disturbing, and cannot be resisted. It is the most frequent physical torture used on me. Voice to skull, or V2K. This is the ability of this technology to transmit sound into your auditory system as well as receiving your voice or your surrounding sound. An artificial tinnitus is also heard constantly along with the voice to skull, and it is used to entrain the victim's brain to the torture. The volume can be increased to a deafening degree. I've only had a couple of V2K voice transmissions from my handlers. Apart from that, I have had a loop of high-pitched, fast-repeating robotic voice that says die, die, da-da-die, die, die, accompanied by the tinnitus in my ears, since my torture became overt. Body manipulation. For me, this is mostly jerking, contracting, and tensing of limbs. Pain. Organs and muscles can be hit like a punch or get a sharp pain. Irradiating. This is a type of torture that is like a sickly fever that overheats the body and especially your head. It cannot be cooled off and it can last for months, as it did with me. Nervous system cutoff. During prolonged and hard torture, the handlers can make me near catatonic, where only faint thoughts of your body remain. Thinking of a body part like the foot, arm, or head will make it bob, as long as your focus stays on it. Sleep torture. This is done so the brain doesn't have the opportunity to heal and rest. Before sleep, they create itches out.
Didn't I tell y'all about that itching part? Yeah, he go through it too. They make the itches all over your body. Yeah, that's the worst kind of sleep deprivation. That's the worst because you can't, like, what you do with the itch. Like you it's like you just, that's a whole nother. Even tickling can be torture. Tickling somebody can be torture. Why? Because you can't like, what you gonna do?
All over the heal and rest. Before sleep, they create itches all over the body to stress you until you are asleep. Other than this, the handlers pinch and vibrate my muscles often during the day, together with the facial manipulation to make me keep attention on them and to overtake me. Combined, this torture traumatize and madden tremendously until you can become unresponsive and bedridden, or on the other hand, unstable and violent. Pharmaceutical drugs and sedatives work only slightly against it, no matter the type or amount. The same goes with any external stimuli. As for the gang stalking, I will try to describe how the people of my country and of others sided with this torture program and used it in order to entitle themselves to act as my judge, jury, and executioners. The end scope of my dehumanization by them was to instigate torture on me and literally try to murder me by proxy, as they are still actively trying to do so. My story of this might seem bizarre, but this is the design of these programs. For future reference, I will have to start when I was 17 years old. I lived a somewhat normal life in a small city in Romania until I reached that age. However, I began to lose touch and soon I was ostracized by those around me. I flunked my high school year and my then girlfriend left me. It was only after this succession of events that I realized what was happening, and in a moment of nerves, during the summer vacation, I crushed a glass between my hands and the bottom edges slit my wrists badly. I was sent to the hospital for stitches and later committed by advice for the first time in a psychiatric institution. With the new school year on the way, I was just released from the ward, and it looked like I attempted suicide. I was mentally crashed, but I don't want to get into any more details as to why. I couldn't bear to go to school, but I was pressured, and finally what I did was get an MP3 player with some random music on it, put a cap over my head, and walked to school with my head down. I didn't interact or say a word to anyone, not even school staff. Each time I left my house since then, which was only to school, I repeated this behavior, which was passable, as few to none said anything to me. I went less and less to school and was sometimes put with a mentally disabled student in the back of classrooms, and the school staff didn't kick me out. During this at home, I have been on an online gaming site since before all this, which was also frequented by students at my school. I remained there even in my state. I played and also chatted, half aware that I could be watched by others. I was self-deprecating and unconscious of what I was doing to myself. That's the way I lived for the duration of 2 school years and another before college. The only occasion when I went out is when my estranged father picked me up in the summers to the village where he was staying. I tried to act more normally there, but it caused more harm than good.
See, with the whole memory thing, they would like, you won't even know what you're doing is harming yourself, right? Then by the time you figure it out, it's like it's kind of irreversible at this point. You feel me? It's like, that's why I like it. This might come to health. This might come with relationships. Like, this is why I preach, shout out King Mancy, he preached also, health is wealth. Health is wealth. Because a lot of this shit, short term, you'll forget. All these distractions, we so caught up on what's going on, we ain't creating new memories for ourselves. Shit, by the time they wake us up or we wake up, I think a lot of times they allow us to see, right? And then we like, damn, like, well, let me try to fix it. You can't fix it. So much self-harm.
By the time I was supposed to go to college, my health had deteriorated drastically. I developed tooth decay from lack of hygiene and chain smoking, dark bags under my eyes, acne and scars from a compulsion I got to pick my face, weight loss, and a poor mental condition from the way I lived, clinical depression and isolation.
See, a lot of the bad shit that happens is outside of you not being able to make sense of something. So look, imagine somebody that's 75 years old. They haven't saw what was going on. What's going on in society. This program even exists. 9 times out of 10, they got bad health. You know why? Because everybody's remote. Everybody's subjected to remote trauma-based mind control. So I'm looking at you like, what type of programming you got going on? Because 9 times out of 10, if you don't know, if you don't remember, you not for me. Everything you do is going to be detriment to me. You might be programmed to do the tactic. You don't even know. You don't even know. A lot of the shit people do that they think they harming others destroy themselves. They destroy their own health. If you don't know, you don't know. It's called a defense mechanism. The brain don't be like, yo, it ain't like Tony Stark. It ain't like what the AI he be talking to. It ain't like his AI friend. Hey, the AI be like, Tony Stark, your defense mechanism is now online. No, the brain don't say that. Remember, the enemy acts like you. The enemy wants you to believe that it is your choice. You the boss. You know what that defense mechanism do? It loves you. It eases you. It make things easier for you. But the truth is, a lot of the shit that we do to try to avoid shit, bro, that shit is against us. So we fuck ourselves over. Before I realized I was in this program, I did some fucked up shit, but I'm glad I ain't let it get too bad. But when I reached the point when the shit really wasn't making sense, I had to pause for a second, like, yo, I had to look around me like, and I started seeing motherfuckers sing. I'm like, yo, like, oh, this shit real. I woke up. But a lot of people don't wake up. And you know what they do? They destroy themselves. They destroy themselves. They don't know who they are. All they remember is what the program wants them to remember. You talking to an agent. They don't remember family is family. They don't remember none of that shit. They don't remember none of that moral shit we talking about. They don't remember none of that shit. They in fight or flight. You trying to go out, yo, let's have a innocent, normal, let's go out and go to dinner. They in fight or flight at the dinner store, man. They sell motherfucker out quick. You go in there, you try to have fun, just try to enjoy, have a good time. They ain't on that. They in fight or flight. They in destroy mode, Terminator. Seeking who they may destroy. They on their way to a family function, and as people be dying, they'll gang stalk you at the funeral. They going to the funeral, destroying people, seeking who to destroy. A lot of people don't want to remember this shit. A lot of people don't want to know about this shit. They really don't. And a lot of people don't want to go through this shit. You know why? It's too hard. It's too tough. It's too much for them. They ain't gonna be able to. Look, a lot of people would rather just get their memory wiped. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Like Cypher. A lot of people, look, if they had the choice, fuck it, just take my memory away. If you gonna do what you gonna do, take my memory away from me. Use me, rape me, whatever. Just take my memory away. Whatever you gonna do, just take that shit. I don't want it. But see, it's consequences to everything, man. It's consequences to everything, bro. Why the fuck would I want to be a co-piloter in my body? Why do I just want to be? Why don't I want to have control of my own body? I just want to be the passenger of my body and watch somebody do what they do to me and not have control of that shit. Yeah, something is wrong. Something is really wrong.
I went to college for a few months before leaving and not returning for the second semester. It affected me because it was my only chance to get away from the agoraphobia I had at home. After I got back, I started to have severe psychosis, manias, nightmares, hypersexualization, and my depression worsened. It is well at this age of 21, give or take some time, that I think my torture began. So I couldn't say where my own mental problems ended and the torture took hold. A year later, I was forcefully admitted in a psychiatric ward as a result of this. I never discussed with psychiatrists or psychologists and just awaited release from the ward, continuing to live as I have. I played video games in dissociation to escape the horribleness my life turned to, but
I did the same thing. On my younger years, I played video games all day to disassociate. I didn't understand it. Remember, I did the live stream. I thought I had a passion. I had a passion for it. But that wasn't what was driving me. What was driving me was because I couldn't make sense what the fuck was going on. It was better to stay at home and play video games. I liked it. But they ain't what drove me to that shit. They ain't what controlled me to do that. I think he about to say, but that didn't solve anything. That's right. It ain't solve anything. It don't solve nothing. Drinking and smoking, it don't solve shit. That's why you gotta see, yo, it's a parasite. Yo, my mental illness is a parasite. A lot of the shit, in order to remove this shit, you need awareness. You need to be able to separate. This program, this is why, like, on a higher form of this shit, what God put us through, it's impurities, it's separating. When you burn, when you cook, things separate. Things separate, and then when it separate, it transforms into something delicious, something that's eatable. But yeah, it didn't do anything. Defense mechanisms come in all forms. It can be, I pick my beard. It can be, I scratch my wrist when I feel some type of way. It can be anything that's unexplainable because it don't make sense. Things ain't making sense. So the things I do is unexplainable. So question the things you do. Why you do it. Look at where it's coming from. Then you're going to find out. Oh, man. I've been under a form of programming. It ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that because you're aware of it now. But I'm just saying, a lot of us is programmed and don't even know it. Don't even know it. People changing right before your eyes. What you going to tell them? What you going to do? Doctor Strange, he put a spell on everybody. Nobody don't remember who you is. What you going to do? You going to go up to them and tell them? They're going to be like, who are you? It's best to just walk away with that knowledge. How you going to apply it? Nobody don't remember. They don't know who you is. They forgot. You know why? Because the truth is too painful. They'd rather forget voluntarily. They don't even remember they don't even remember where it came from. They don't even remember when it started. Remember Spider-Man, too far from home. You far from home. They be showing us in them Spider-Man movies. They be putting it far from home, y'all. We far from home. The home we used to be, what we used to know. We far from that. We long gone from home. But the thing is, it's this shit is surgical. Military use keywords like surgical precision. You know, at the doctors, when they do surgery, right? It be a person at the window upstairs. Do y'all know? I don't know if I told y'all about this, but y'all know theater. Basically, society is Greek theater, right? Y'all know theater You know, theater used to be like they used to associate that with surgery. So they playing with people's minds. You have sergeants, therapists, military doing surgery on people, brains in society. Surgery remotely, fucking with people's brains, inducing psychosis. You don't know who you dealing with. I'm checking for, you know, when a motherfucker dead, you check they post. I'm checking for their awareness. That's their post. Your post is your awareness. The moment you lose awareness, you're technically dead. I ain't checking no post. I'm checking for awareness. Yo, how much do you see? Itachi versus Sasuke. How much do you truly see with them eyes of yours? Huh, little foolish little brother, you see nothing. You don't see a damn thing. You under a genjutsu. Foolish little brother. And he coming, yeah, my hate, my anger, yeah. Yeah, what you think? Yeah, that drive. The whole time Itachi using that drive. Like I said, yo, just because you have a passion for something, don't mean that the drive that you have for it is yours. Same as I said, you can be guilty by association. So when I say these people love you, you'll be like, well, they say, no, I don't love you. I love the gift cards and the money. No, you can be guilty by association. So you can be guilty with being with somebody. If you love what you get from me, that means you love what I give to you. You love what you can get from me. You can't hate me and love what you get from me. No, you love what, because without me, you wouldn't get what you love. I am your drive. I am what drives you. So I am technically what controls you also. I control you. So yeah, everybody out here in this society, they just want slaves. Everybody wants slaves. That's the best thing right now. Everybody wants slaves. They want to be able to tell people what to do. They want to have a motherfucker locked up in their basement. Everybody wants slaves. That's what they want. That's what they want. The new slaves in town. That's what they gloating about. I'm the new slave in town. Sponsors. That's what's going on.
Didn't solve anything. Once I returned to that gaming site that I was originally on and played a game, only to have a former bully of mine log in and insulting me finally, showing that I had been indeed watched. 2 more years of this passed and my mother, a physics teacher, had to quit her job because salaries got cut and we had debt. So she got a job as a caretaker abroad and I remained alone. From here my condition worsened even further. I was definitely under torture and monarching by now, which exacerbated everything tenfold. I lost more weight and was half of the normal ratio at my height. I barely walked from weakness to the store for food, and I did it rarely. My appearance was unrecognizable to my former self. I kept staying on the computer, but I eventually ripped it apart, unable to take it anymore and of what I had become. After that, I hurt myself every day.
So basically, see, we all have stages in our targeting. A lot of us, they saw we was going to be attractive. We was going to be one of the best basketball players, whatever, right? They saw our potential. But in these stages of degradation, it's a total decline. Like, some are faster than others. Some TIs went through their decline faster than some others. Some TIs was actually able to catch themselves. Like, whoa, what's going on? I'm done with this. I'm not doing this no more. Some of us, we lost our teeth. Some of us lost our hair. Some of us had some good hair. We lost our hair. We go through moments of degradation. Where do you think that come from? Your memory. You lose yourself. That shit, yo, bro. Like I said, this program, man, this shit, yo, that conscious shit ain't no joke. This shit really ain't no joke, bro, because motherfuckers, bro. I got the phone that I got in my hand, right? I know how to reset my phone. I know how to reboot my phone. I know how to put it on power saver mode. I know how to put it on safety mode. I know how to reset the whole thing. I know how to like memory wipe that shit. I know how to do all that on my cell phone. A motherfucker know how to do that with a person's brain. There are people that know how to do that to people's brains. Like on command. Like the good ones know how to do it in person. Like in command. They remember the movie Hypnotic? They know how to do that shit on command. There are people that know how to do that remotely. Manchurian candidates walking around us. The ones who woke up, bro, we some lucky motherfuckers. We some blessed motherfuckers. Cause yo, see, the program is like, it's like, it's like a lifeline where when they pull a plug on this shit, when the program get exposed, bro, it's not just the system falling. It's everybody that was participating. It's the destruction of their. It's a total destruction of their current self. They don't know them. It's not them. They don't even remember who they are. It's not them. When the gang stalk, the persona, the habits, who they are, who they built themselves to be, all of that shit goes with it. What you think gonna happen out here? You gonna really see some clones. You gonna really see what the fuck is going on out here. You gonna figure out everybody was pedophiles, molesters, rapists. You gonna see that shit. You like, yo, everybody was creeps. Everybody was watching. Everybody is evil. You gonna see this shit. And guess what? They gonna be out hiding. They gonna be in their bunkers. Everybody gonna be going crazy, bro. They gonna be attacking the police. Police think they safe. Law enforcement think they safe. They really, you know what they did? They left law enforcement. You know in the zombie movies, you know how like they're sending the military, and then you ever see the movies where like they'll be bombing certain areas because it's too infested, but then there isn't anybody coming to save them. The police don't have no saving. The military ain't going to save the police. They going to trap their ass in here with us, dickhead. They going to be trapped with the people. So you help gang stalking, and your own government going to trap you here when shit hit the fan. Idiots. You going to be trapped here. And guess what? Ain't nobody going to care about no badge. Ain't nobody going to care about no gun. Bro, motherfuckers this shit gonna be like, some horror shit, some horror film, bro. Some shit people ain't never seen before, bro. Women ain't gonna be safe. Let you be a single mother out here. You don't got no man. You all like, I don't need a man. Oh, you gonna see. You gonna wish you had a man. This is why I say in the scripture, it's gonna be 7 women to 1 man. Cause bro, you gonna need a man out here. You gonna need protection, bro. You gonna need God, bro. You gonna need protection out here, bro. It's gonna get real. You gonna need somebody that know what the fuck they doing, bro. Cause it's gonna go crazy. It's gonna get crazy out here, bro. People ain't able to get that notification. They ain't able to get that hit no more. And they start being in their own thoughts, questioning their reality, questioning, bro. Most people can't even sit in silence. They gotta whistle and jingle keys all day. They can't even sit in their own personal space. Stop it. Program over with. These people done, bro. They can't even sit in silence. The teachers even listen. Hold on. Give me a minute. You don't see how they setting up society to fall like this? You don't see this shit? Look at what the teacher's saying about the kids. They pulling kids out of school to gangster. Look at what the teacher's saying. They illiterate. These are gonna be the people we're gonna be dealing with in the next decade. Look at what they doing with the kids. You know how bad this shit about to get? Bro, the next generation, this shit over with, bro. Listen.
These kids are leaving high school and going to college, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words. I literally broke down in the middle of class. This is only day 2. And I have seniors who simply cannot read.
They can't read. They can't spell. But they know how to gangster. They know how to follow that notification. They know how to look at that dot. And they know how to follow that dot. But they don't know how to read. They don't know how to spell. What you think is going to happen?
And seniors who cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning if it's talking to their homeboy, but applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs, and they couldn't do it. Our young black men, our young brown men, our young black girls, and our young brown girls.
Society is cooked. Society is cooked, y'all.
Usually punching the sides of my head with my fists until I went numb. Between that period, I had unusual things happen, like getting tripped to golf or at a wrong station in a train by a person who asked strange questions like if I still had stars on my shoulder, like a general, or going to old family friends in the summer who mistreated and joked about me in a cruel way, and getting remarks from random people, etc. I didn't piece anything and just went on. When I was 23 turning 24, I went to my uncle's to stay, and this is the first time where I experienced some awareness of my monarchy. While walking their dog, it barked at a person who said scared he will beat me if I don't leash it. I put on the leash, and after he left, a big grin was made on my face. I didn't think to grin or have any feeling. Nonetheless, the grin stayed for half a minute. It was eerie to me, but I discounted it as I could have no idea.
Remember, you know what this sound like? Remember the movie Smile? Remember the movie Smile? This is what it sound like. Hold on, give me a minute. Remember the movie? Remember this movie? So hold on. So let's see what it's telling us. A psychiatric who witnesses a patient horrific suicide. She soon becomes stalked by a malevolent supernatural entity, which could be AI or the program, whatever you want to call it. But you know, these psychiatrics, you know, there's always some mental health shit going on. She soon becomes stalked by a malevolent supernatural entity that feeds on trauma, forcing her to experience terrifying visions and a sinister, unyielding grin before it claims her life. I can break this down, but this is a whole nother topic. But you see the plot. Yo, where you think they getting this from, bro? This shit is real life. This shit is real life, bro. It been a time. I know that smile. I know that grin. I mean, I never experienced the forced facial thing, but I see it. I know how they be doing that with people. Like I said, be places times I go everywhere, people yawning, everybody yawning. So what's going on? They forcing that who forcing everybody to yawn? Crazy if I talk about it, but who forcing everybody to yawn? I go and approach one of them. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you really? Do you really don't know what I'm talking about? Is you serious or you just gaslighting me? See, I don't know. But like I said, bro, a lot of this shit, man.
I stayed a few weeks there and left as I couldn't bear to live with them. Back to when staying at home, I started seeing things that appeared odd to me on the TV. There was a commercial with a woman leaving her partner, and he was begging, "Please don't go, little badger," as she walked out the door. Now, the Romanian word for little badger is what I used to privately pet call my then girlfriend as a teenager. It is completely uncommon for people in my country to use that word affectionately. It was something I came up with for she was short. Secondly, I saw a small comedy TV show named Censored in Romanian, which was my nickname on that initial gaming site I was on. It had no meaning to the content of the show. There was also a popular hateful song on TV with the singer beginning the song with saying, "Get the hell out of the house," close to the camera. This might have been some schizo effect from my failing mind or an induced effect of the psychotronic technology.
See, we know about death, actual death, but when the mind is dying, bro, it be when the mind is dying, let me show you an example of that. Basically, it's like Jacob's ladder. So it's like Jacob's ladder, and it ain't talked about. A lot of people already dead, and they, bro. Let me show you a dying mind real quick. Hold on. Matter of fact, I don't want to get copyrighted. Hold on, I don't want this. Let me see if I can.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete
wonders what is happening to him. Every day, Jacob Singer goes to work.
What's wrong? It's one of those days.
And every day, he wonders what is happening to him.
Maybe it's the pressure, Jake.
They're like demons, Jess. They weren't human.
What were they, Jake?
Go look at your hand.
Those are very strange lines.
See, according to this, you're already dead.
Something's wrong, Jake. They're coming after me. I don't know who they are or what they are, but they're gonna get me, and I'm scared, Jake. I've seen them too. Maybe the demons are real.
It's running 106 feet.
This is barbaric. I can get rid of the demons. Who are you?
They coming for that memory. They coming with that trauma, so they can come for that memory.
Block the ladder. I can get rid of the demons. Who are you? I can block the ladder. Where are you taking me? Where am I?
Look, where am I? Look, where am I? Where are you taking me? I can get rid of them. I don't know. All this. Why ain't nobody in the movie talking about? I know what's going on. Oh, I know who you are. Nobody remember shit. Nobody don't remember shit. Where am I? Where are you taking me? That sound like some Jason Bourne shit, bro. Our whole life we be asking questions. Who the fuck put us in this program? Why are they doing that? Is they a perp or not? We don't know shit. Nobody know anything. And then the flip side of this shit, you know, nobody know anything. Then you gotta watch out who comes for the solution. Then you gotta watch them extra hard. But yo, they be showing us.
Where do you want to go? This is your home. You're dead. I'm not dead. What are you then? I'm alive.
See, a dying mind, bro, is a form of hallucination. Hallucinating. You have a psychotic episode. Shit just don't make when shit don't make sense no more, bro. Bro, take a regular person. When shit don't make sense to somebody, a regular mother don't know what's going on. No gang, they don't know what's going on, bro. They out here walking around with a knife, telling people to get away from me. They going crazy, bro. They walking around flashing guns at people on the street, shooting at different cars and shit. They don't know what the fuck going on, bro. They trying to make sense of what the fuck's going on. They losing their minds, bro. Their mind is dying, bro. They are just at the border of losing reality. So, what's going on, bro? They fucking with people's memories, bro. So, let me see. Hold on. We can continue. I thought I was about to show y'all something real quick.
But as I now realize that most of my country knew by then that I am under this torture and many will engage in it with all the tactics, it is possible to say that those TV segments might have been inspired by this. I try not to think about it now.
He right. All the TV commercials is geared towards targeting people. All the music is geared towards targeting people. This is why when you wherever you going through in life, they'll play the music to gaslight your situation. You dealing with someone, they playing music. I'm sprung. And you having bad situations with your girl. If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. They playing only song. Every song is geared towards someone's life for a reason, bro. And we thinking it's music. No, that ain't music, bro. That's terrorism. They're terrorizing people, bro. All this shit is geared towards targeting, bro. All this is why I say like gang stalking in society, bro, because everything in society is really geared towards gang stalking, bro. There's not one thing that ain't geared towards gang stalking. They gang stalk in church. You can gang stalk anywhere.
I reached 25 years of age and was still living in isolation in my room, spending my days just laying or hurting myself. One day I crept out of it and finally said that I'll get out of there, so I moved to my father. It is there where the gang stalking began. There was a house near the alley of my father's house, and a girl living there began yelling "Servus", which is a form of "hello, goodbye" in Romanian, every time she saw me from her house. She said "Servus". She said it as often as she could for as long as I stayed there. Soon other people were doing it too. Eventually I moved to the nearby big city of Mureș to get away from my harsh father. Now things were really happening to me. No matter where I stayed, or how friendly, polite, and helpful I was, I got kicked out unexpectedly after a short while from every rent. After a few rents, moving around, strangers started saying "Servus" to me on the street and in every place I went to, more and more. By my fourth rent in just a couple of months, I couldn't walk in the city without hundreds of people saying "Servus" to me, or calling me "Professor" now and again. Some would say "Salut", a more respectable form of hello, just to confuse me and let me know that "Servus" is bad intent, if it wasn't obvious enough. Without knowing what's going on, I searched on Google the only thing I could think of, from what I have seen odd before on TV, my former girlfriend. What I found was an empty Facebook profile with some pictures, and a LinkedIn profile which depicted this person as a music lyricist collaborator with dozens of famous pop artists, rock bands, rappers, etc. Now my computer was hacked by the handlers and even ordinary hackers, and this was planted there, maybe because of my previous searches on Google, or that they called me Professor, which was a lyric from that music video on TV I mentioned, or whatever. It was meant to delude me, which it sadly did, for I was already under years of progressive menticide and under trance. So I didn't have my faculties in place and critical thought to dismiss it. I shortly thereafter began falsely correlating what the Romanian people were doing to me to the local and English songs on the television, as though some were done by her or others, in both cases in relation to me, and this was the supposed source of my persecution. It has no sense, but this is how it affected me. The meaning of the songs were mostly negative, as I've had negative experiences with that person. Finally, I was kicked out from my first rent, and after living in a motel for a few days, I moved to an abandoned industrial building turned into a hostel for the poor. While staying there, I found that my uncle worked in England and decided to go there. I also found at this time that my mother had gotten cancer. I made a visa, boarded a plane, and went to Sittingbourne in the county of Kent, where I began working. Here is where the gang stalking escalated. I don't want to reproduce the degrading insults received, but I have to a degree from here on. At work, a produce company in Raynham, a town nearby, people started to do repeated gestures to me, saying the same servus and saying other things as well, like, he upset too many people, he has to die, or you'll be in a body bag. They either said it in first person or in third, as you're not even there. When I went to a pub, a bar, or something, the same happened. People saying while looking at me that he's a liability, he has to die, and so on. In shops or other places, I would also get servus or remarks or insults from British or other nationality people.
Yeah, you gotta smoke a cigarette. You're like, man, shit crazy.
Then my landlord, a British lady, started insulting me in the third person. An example, talking to me, chuckling, turning her head and saying things like, he's such a faggot. She became more aggressive towards me, locking me out of the house at night while I was having a drink in the backyard, forcing me to sleep in the cold on the street, and things like that, until kicking me out in the street in a humiliating way, laughing through it. Before continuing, it would be better to say what has and is actually creating this. First off, the torturers caught wind of me all those years ago by some insight and found an ideal target, an isolated poor person with no family or friends, already branded with mental illness and mocked by the surrounding community. They did an infiltration, a psyop, a psychological operation, to a probably pre-existing hate base, and showcased somehow that I am under this secret torture and maybe gave guidelines on what.
So what he's saying is like a lot of us already had people that hated us. They just infiltrated the campaign. We already had people, like some of us ain't have a strong family system. A lot of us ain't had support. They just infiltrated. They basically, like, y'all had haters, but y'all ain't have haters with money, with influence. So they came around and gave them the influence. They gave them the ability to do these things. They infiltrated. And you know what's crazy now? Now it don't even matter. They can gangstar celebrities now. It don't even matter. They figured out, well, shit, they don't always gotta be a poor person. It can be a rich motherfucker. It can be a celebrity. It don't matter. They gangstalk anybody.
To be done to me, as what the gang stalkers, ordinary people, have and still do to me is precise and scripted, even if they later change what is said and done by their own. This was done in silence and spread around until I found out and let known of them. A concocted profile was made for me, consisting of twisted information and slander to instill maximum hate of me to anyone transmitted to, as they are pitching something in order for this proliferation to work, with communications and instructions of what to say or do to me, and just justifications and rationalizations of why it should be done to me. Pictures of me are also included so I can be recognized by anyone.
I heard multiple people say that they found pictures of them in their phones. So not only, so he's saying like it'd be a picture and it'd be like description on why they should target you, how to target you. I heard stories of that. I ain't never see that on a phone, but yeah, that's I'm inclined to believe what he's saying. Justification and rationalization on why it should be done.
Rationalizations of why it should be done to me. Pictures of me are also included so I can be recognized by anyone. This profile and its updates were and still are spread through some kind of social media, instant messaging, and word of mouth. How exactly I do not know, only the scale it has reached. The key factor is me not being able to see any of this, just be on the receiving end of it. That's how this ritual abuse is maintained on me and facilitates my total exclusion from society as a free person, for I am as much of a hostage to them, the gang stalkers, as I am to the torturers themselves. Although I am a hard target of torture in this program, I consider that the societal coercion to engage in this torture is also a prime objective or interest of the handlers, in which I am the patsy. While I was at that landlord, my torture became overt. It started with electric pinches in my body, then one night, when I missed the last train from work because of what was happening to me, I sat behind the station to wait the night, and I had my first voice-to-skull transmission. I don't remember it fully, but it said in a robotic voice in my ears, "You little scoundrel, etc. The world will be as one. Die." Then it looped, die, die, did die, die, continuously from thereafter. It added shock to what I was already experiencing, and it drove me paranoid about what this was, as I had no clue about this technology. I still thought it had something to do with the music industry, as I could not comprehend that this is plain torture and I was under it. I even began talking to myself out loud in confusion. So now I was homeless in the streets with little money. I also lost my phone, losing the only contact I had, my mother. I slept in train station overpasses at first, but with commuters gang-stalking me, I moved on the benches around town. 2 weeks after, while laying on a bench, a lady came up to me and asked me how I am, and then invited me to have some food with her. She got me and her kids to a cafe and ordered something. After that, she later came and put me in her car, and we drove to her house. In the car, she said to me, "They have a system." She paused and then just chit-chatted and played some gospel music, as she was a Christian. We arrived at her house and stayed a bit.
Y'all heard that? You heard what she said? She said they have a system. And then she stopped.
Said to me, "They have a system." She paused and then just chit-chatted and played some gospel music, as she was a Christian. We arrived at her house and stayed a bit. Then she, her husband, and their kids made a circle prayer for me and gave me a Bible. The husband took me when we finished and drove me to a hotel where he paid for one night and a pack of cigarettes and left me be. That lady was the only person that ever tried to warn me about anything, but I still don't know what she meant about the system. If she had good intent, I now see what she was risking for this, for then I was out of mind and in a trance state.
See, there are some people that's gonna tell us, bro. They willing to like tell us, but it's risky, man. It's risky. Like that's probably the most she could say. Like they have a system. That's all you need to know right there. Most people they like, yo, they like. Let's say it's people on your side, right? They figure out, yo, they got a whole system going on. Like it's bigger than me. This shit, yo, everybody involved. So it's like, what can you do? What can you do?
From the hotel, I was in another city, Rochester, and I slept in the back of houses, in hospital waiting rooms, where I read the Bible, the only thing I had, until I found an open garage of an apartment building. The police checked me and gave me a sleeping bag. Another lady from this building, who was a social worker, sometimes brought me food and clothing. Later, an ambulance was called on me and I was sent to the hospital. Then social services took me to a hostel and said they'll try to get me social housing, though I don't know how, since that's only for the British usually. At this hostel lived an old man with mental problems, a Muslim man, and two boys. They all proceeded to gang-stalk me and try to delude me as much as they could. A thing to note was that the old man, who was alone and without a computer, he was probably approached on the street or by others in the hostel to do this. Here, for some reason, my torture escalated greatly. The handlers turned the voice-to-call to extreme volume, resembling CIA sound torture. It was constant and deafening. I would hide in the bathroom with the lights closed and put my hands over my ears, or squirm on the floor in my room. They also increased the power of the signal on me, so I couldn't think almost at all, and the hysteria torture by facial manipulation. Something interesting is that during this I had a radio on the side of my room, and whenever I approached it, the channels, which were crystal, turned to static. I did tests moving forward and backwards from the radio, and it switched from static to clear every time. My gang-stalking also increased, with examples such as asking an entire taxi line where was the local church shelter by name, and they said they didn't know, brushing me off. It was a few hundred meters away near the biggest church and landmark in town. When I ordered a coffee at a place, the waitress came up to me, leaned over, and said she spat I'm sorry. The waitress came up to me, leaned over, and said she spat in my drink, and plenty of other gang-stalking incidents. I won't enumerate the rest. I tried going to the hospital to get medication because of the torture, thinking it would help me. While going to one, the handlers opened the voice-to-call and said in a British accent, "Vermin," then left. I didn't manage to get a prescription. Every day I would wake up, go to the shelter to eat, where people there ransacked my bag and ripped my Bible in half. Then I would walk robotically through town or go to church when it was empty because I didn't know what else to do. I began to break down, and when the old man was harassing me once, I headbutted him to the ground from stress, but quickly apologized and went up the stairs. However, they continued and kept threatening my social worker in front of me, so one day I snapped, and instead of being violent on them, I wrecked the furniture and doors in the house in a crazed manner. The owners of the hostel came and called the police. The others in the hostel tried to talk down the police and let me stay so they could take it further with me, but I was taken to the station while me laughing by force from the handlers. The owners didn't press any charges and I was locked in a cell overnight. In the morning I was given water and food as I was malnourished since I stopped eating in the last weeks at the hostel, and some social service asked me to go to a hospital to get help. I couldn't judge anything and I went.
Part 2 to this, I will do it tomorrow. But something you must understand, if they are not letting you create new memories for yourself, new experience for yourself, and the only experiences you having is the things that don't make sense to you, the things that is so uncomfortable to you that you ain't truly allowing to like you not really like it's something that you actually pushing to the side. You not really, you're looking but you're not really focused. What memories do you think they're replacing that with? What do you think what is actually programming you? This is why the isolation is very important. Because if we make solid memories for ourselves, good memories, long term, we can, we get old and we can think on some shit. Nah, it's only programming. It's only gang stalking. It's only shit that don't make sense. Because if our mind can't make sense of it, and then our mind, then we can't recall the moment something happened that made us feel this way. Once we stop forgetting shit, once we stop remembering shit that's going on, that's when the person controlling you can do what they want. You don't know. Lingering emotions. Somebody can do a look and that emotion will last the whole fucking day. Added on other shit that goes on throughout the day too. But create good moments for yourself. Create good moments for yourself, man. Moments that stick. Moment to be remembered. Moments like this. We all in here, we socializing. These moments isn't traumatic. These are moments we can come on here and speak and be heard. Outside of this, there isn't that many moments like this. So after this, we back into the MK Ultra. But you gotta be aware of this. Gotta be focused. You gotta be conscious. Or else you lose yourself completely. Completely. Everything you once stood for, you forget the whole entire plot. You forget why you even woke up to continue. You forgot what made you you. What made you even continue fighting this long. You forget about that. All the important shit. So yeah, man, I'm gonna try to do a part 2 tomorrow. That was, let me see how much we was into that. We about 40 minutes in. That video is 1 hour and 31 minutes. Appreciate y'all for coming through, man. Hit that like button. What up, A73? What up, Rocco? What up, Fire? What up, Sean? What up, Steve? What up, y'all? This ain't usually people that be talking. Everybody else, they be in the background. What up, what up, what up?